Is a live presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. And happy Friday, everybody. My name is Ron Juckett. Welcome to the broadcast on this February 26th, 2021. We go back to June 18th, 1949 for the surprising first place Washington Senators and the very good Detroit Tigers from Griffith Stadium in Washington. Now, a caveat from the start. Normally, we try to do everything as played. And the reason why you didn't get the Senators and Tigers yesterday was there was no lineup for the game. Whether they were rained out or whatever, the game, I don't think it happened. The 49 file for Dave Cook needs to be replaced or updated. But that's been the case with several games. We've just kind of worked our way around them. And when the season comes to an end, we'll let the chips fall where they may. So I did the Saturday game instead, thinking that actually happened. When I went to put the lineups together, there were no lineups, at least for Washington. Although I suppose if it had been played there, we could have done it. So these are, for Washington, it's my lineup and my pitcher going against the Tigers lineup, which could be real life or not, I don't know. So that's the caveat here. Normally we do as played. This one we couldn't do as played, but we wanted to get the Senators on. And besides, you get a nice shiny new picture or drawing of Griffith Stadium to look at. So this should be fun. All right, special Friday broadcast, and then next week we're going to go Monday through Thursday unless I get sick or the wife gets sick because her second shot is Monday. And so, with all that, let's get going, shall we? As Retro Sports Network presents Major League Baseball Replay 1949 today from Griffith Stadium in Washington, D.C. It is the surprising Washington Senators against the Detroit Tigers. It's Mickey Hefner versus Stubby Overmeyer, and today's game is brought to you by DigitalDice.com, the best darn podcast on the web for your sports simulation and replay needs. Find us today on Spotify or Spreaker or iTunes or wherever else fine podcasts are listed. And so, good afternoon to whoever that person is who's watching. Mickey Hefner is going to pitch today for the Senators. And again, I think this was a game that was rained out because there was no lineup. I think we got the as scheduled schedule for 1949 and not as played. So just kind of keep that in mind. Mickey Hefner making his 11th start of the year. He's 36 years old. He's a knuckleball pitcher. And the fastball, when he throws it, tops out at 81. He is a standard pitcher, doesn't favor either the ground ball nor the fastball. He actually is on full rest. He last pitched on the 14th against the Browns. 7 innings and a loss to St. Louis. 10 hits, 5 runs, 2 earned. He walked 7 and struck out 3. So in 75 in the third innings, 78 hits, 47 runs, 37 earned. He has walked 38 and struck out 22. And in the replay, his ERA is matched real life, 4.42. And he is 3-5. And I neglected to mention that he has allowed 9 homers on the year. And you'll see that he will leave D.C. on July 21st. It, by the way, is an absolutely Chamber of Commerce Saturday afternoon in Washington, 79 degrees. And the wind is blowing out to right center at 2 miles an hour. Here's the defense, or the lineup first for Detroit. And again, I'm believing this is computer generated, not real. George Kell is at third. He'll lead off. Hoot Evers in center will bat second. Vic Wertz is in right field. He'll bat third. Aaron Robinson behind the plate cleans up. George Mullen, some Mullen in left field will bat fifth. Don Calloway at first will hit sixth. Johnny Lippin at short will bat seventh. Mr. Barry at second will bat eighth. And Stubby Overmeyer in his 9 ERA and 90 pitches, will bat ninth. This will definitely be a bullpen game for the Tigers. For the Senators defensively, Gil Cohn is a 5 and a 6 in left. Clyde Vollmer is a 7 and a 3 in center. Ortiz is a 3 and a 6 in right. And no, it's not Dave. Sherry Robertson is at third. He's a 5. Sal Dente is a 7 at short. Al Kozar is a 3 at second. Eddie Robinson an 8 at first. Al Evans a 2 and a 5 behind the plate. And Hefner is a 7 on the mound with a .926 fielding percentage. And so with all that, George Kell digs in at .333, no homers, and 33 RBI. Hefner deals, and Kell lines it right back up the box, and that's how this one starts, 1 out. It brings up Hoot Evers. And again, it looks like you're going to have a Hoot spending time with Hoot. .318, 4 homers, and 35 RBI. We'll tell you after the game what we got for you next week. Next scheduled stream here on Twitch. Habs and the Sabres from December 3rd, Monday night at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Evers, it's a ground ball to Dente over to first, and that's an error. Robinson couldn't flag it down. Evers moves to second as Dente's throw. How in the world did he find Chuck Knobloch's mom? Oh my goodness, she got plunked in the head. Ugh. So the throw goes into the stands, and Evers is on second on the air. And now I'll bring up Vic Wirtz. Is that where he's going? Ricky is so clever. Vic Wirtz at .312, 5 homers, and 44 RBI. Ricky says I wanted to give Hefner a live DC start before he went to Chicago. So first, I never thought when we started this season that I'd have to doll up a picture for Griffith Stadium. There's actually a default one here, and it's not bad. I almost used it yesterday. But now let's have it in color. So that's right. I wanted to give Mickey Hefner his due. Pitch to Wirtz. There's a line drive to right. Ortiz is there, 2 out. For Aaron Robinson, Aaron at .278. 4 homers and 21 RBI. Battle of lefties here between Hefner and Overmeyer. Pitch to Robinson, ball 4. 39th walk given up by Hefner. It's Pat Mullen. Not hitting all that well. .237, 2 homers and 7 RBI. And there's a fly ball left center field. Vollmer will go back there and make the catch to retire the side. The error does not hurt. No runs, no hits, and the 1 error. Detroit strands 2. We go to the bottom of the first. No score. So here's Stubby Overmeyer. Stubby making, I imagine, a emergency start here for the Tigers. 30 years old. I wonder how he got that nickname. Fastball pitcher at 84 and a standard pitcher. His only start was against Washington and he lost. And that was May 11th. Last pitched against the A's on June 2nd, so he's on plenty of rest. An inning and a third. No hits, just a strikeout. 20 in the third innings on the year. 22 hits, 2 homers, 13 runs all earned. He walked 6 and struck out 5 and is 2-3 with a .575 ERA. And since we have usage penalties off, it doesn't matter if he goes over on the innings. With a real-life ERA of 9.87, you can overuse him all you want. It's going to only hurt the Tigers. Stubby is only 5'7". It's like Dustin Pedroia height. He was called Stubby. Actual first name is Frank. So here's the lineup that Frank Overmeyer will face. Alcozar leads off at second for the Sens. Ortiz in right will bat second. Sherry Robertson at third will bat third. Eddie Robinson cleans up at first. Al Evans catches will bat fifth. Clyde Vollmer in center field will bat sixth. Sam Dente at short will go seventh. Gil Cohn in left will bat eighth. And Hefner will bat ninth. He threw 21 pitches in the first. Defensively for the Tigers, Pat Mullen is a 6 and a 5 in left. Hoot Evers is a 3 and a 6 in center. Vic Wertz, with that amazingly tall right field wall, is a 7 and a 7 in right. George Kell is 6 at third. Johnny Lippin is a 6 at short. Barry is a 4 at second. Don Calloway a 4 at first. And Robinson, who would later be Yogi Berra's clipboard holder, is a 6 and a 6 behind the plate. Overmeyer is a 2 with a 1,000 fielding percentage. Kozar at 285, 2 homers and 19 RBI. Pitch from Overmeyer is a fly ball to center. Evers will go back, but that's an out. I don't normally do this, but because Griffith Stadium is not one that people associate with an awful lot, we'll put up the distances. 388 to the line and left. Can't tell they played football here, right? 409 to left center. 421 to dead center. 378 to the right alley, and 320 down the line and right. And there are houses all the way down the right field line, including that kind of odd-shaped thing in center field where somebody didn't want to sell. And so their house, you imagine growing up and your house is next to a major league field, even for a team as bad as the Senators? Hopefully he got free tickets, but probably not because the owner wouldn't sell. Roberto Ortiz is 2 for 2 on the year. 279, a homer, and 11 RBI. Right back to Overmeyer, 2 out. Brings up Sherry Robertson. Sherry at 288. 4 homers and 30 RBI. And there's a ground ball base hit right side. Callaway got a late jump. And that's the first hit of the ball game. Brings up Eddie Robinson. 281. 9 homers and 44 RBI. Throw to first. Robertson is there. In case you're wondering, the database for these games, as far as the ballparks are concerned, are from Seamheads. And they determine the percentages, which I don't read all that often anymore because you've seen most of the parks. Robinson pops it up to Robinson. Aaron takes off the mask into foul territory, and that retires the side. No runs, a hit to send Strand a runner. After 1, no score. So Don Calloway, speaking of Chicago, will lead it off. Johnny Lippin and Mr. Barry will bat third, and Overmeyer in the hole at 4. Calloway at 287, no homers, and 11 RBI. Hefner deals. Here's a ground ball to Mickey over to first for the out. Brings up Lippin at 281, a homer, and 34 RBI. Mickey winds and deals. Ground ball to third. Robinson. Don't say that 3 times fast. 2 out. It's Neil Barry. 255. No homers. 5 doubles and 2 RBI. So this is a gargantuan ballpark. Barry. Ground ball to third. Robertson. Long throw to first, and that's an error. Did he throw it away? Yes, he did. And Barry will go to second. It got away, and it went in the dugout. It's a good thing Chuck Knoploch's mother wasn't there. And so that's a 2-base error. That's the second throwing error on the Senators in this game. So 2 out for Overmeyer. Stubby 1 for 5. He has singled and struck out twice on the replay. Imagine being 5'7" and being called short. Then again, at my tallest, I was 5'2". So 5'7" is gargantuan to me. Pitch to Overmeyer. Struck him out. A knuckler right down Broadway. And that will retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 error. Again, it does not hurt. Bottom 2, no score. So Al Evans, Clyde Vollmer, and Sal Dente, to face Overmeyer. Evans at 364, a homer, and 16 RBI. And there's a ground ball to second. Barry, 1 out. Griffith Stadium hosted a couple three World Series, as a matter of fact. When they won in 24. How you doing, D. Scott Howard? Happy Friday to you, my friend. When they lost in 25, and when they lost in the early 30s. Don't have a lot of recordings for those. Vollmer at 249, 8 homers and 28 RBIs. It did, however, host the 1956 All-Star Game, in which Ted Williams and Mickey Mantle went back-to-back. And that's one of the few film clips that you'll see in color of Griffith Stadium. Pitch to Vollmer. There's a fly ball to right. Wirtz has it for the out, 2 away. And, of course, the beer ad you see for National Bohemian is actually real. It is the popular, or was the popular, regional brew down there. Go grab yourself some Natty Boh. Here's Sam Dente at 321. 16 doubles, no homers, and 22 RBI. The modern logo for National Bohemian has a guy with one eye with a Pringles mustache. So every time I see it, it makes me hungry for some Pringles. Ground ball to short. Lippin has it for the out. So the Sens are retired. In order, we go to the third. The Tigers and Senators scoreless on a Friday. So Hefner threw his first 33 pitches, 2 innings, a hit, no runs, a walk and a strikeout. And the ever-dangerous George Kell, who's 0 for 1 at the plate. 1 hit aside so far. Make it 2 for the Tigers as Kell singles up the middle. Hoot Evers is 0 for 1. Ricky and I were talking about this yesterday in a chat. Our local minor league team was sold. And I was chatting with someone today, Ricky, and it was a mutual agreement to sell the team as Vermont moves from the New York Penn League to the Future Collegiate Baseball League. And so, Ricky, it's a wooden bat league, 38 home games this year, provided that they get an agreement with the stadium. So but the thing is, Ricky, Ricky asks, Vermont is pretty much Cape Cod. No, it'll be much more showcase for freshmen and sophomores. So the 18 and 19-year-old kids who are coming through, kids who have not been drafted, they get to play some summer ball. And I forget what years of school the Cape Cod League is. The New England League, which plays down the road in Montpelier. Pitch to Evers, by the way, is a base hit in the left center field. Kell will hold at second. Cone got a bad jump, but Kell didn't go to third. So this is pretty much right out of high school and sophomore years of college. And that. Yeah, the Cape League, Ricky says, is juniors, but it's a draft showcase. So this would be pre-Cape Cod or whatever. It's a wooden bat league, and so it's an 8-team league. Just to get your feet wet. It's the first time, I think, for some of these kids to have used a wooden bat and to show off. So it's a show off. It's a prospect league. And so I was told that the Montpelier team, or the New England College League, maybe not Montpelier, had produced 6 major leaguers. So the names that you'll see on draft night on MLB Network in about 6-7 years might have gotten their start here in Burlington, Vermont. Here's Wirtz. He's 0 for 1. And, of course, they don't get any money, I don't think. I think, they get the room and board paid for, but that's about it. Wirtz hits a fly ball right center. Vollmer is there to make the catch. Cal will tag and go to third without a throw, 1 out. So here's Robinson. Aaron is 0 for 1. I'm sorry, Aaron walked his first time up. The lone walk from Hefner. D. Scott Howard says they're Bellingham Bells. That's a cool name. Are our college kid wooden bat league. Great fun. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Do you remember what year in school they were in? Pitch to Robinson. There's a base hit left field. Kell will score. Cone throws it back in, and it's 1-0 Tigers here in the third. Brings up Pat Mullen, who is 0 for 1. Evers on second, Robinson on first. Pitch to Mullen. Ball 4. So they're loaded. Second walk for Hefner. Brings up Callaway, who's 0 for 1. Evers on third. Robinson on second. Mullen on first. 1 out, 1-0 Tigers. Top the third. Up the middle, Hefner's got it. He's going to go for Evers at the plate. The throw to Evans is in time. They got him. So Hefner, odds are that he was going to make the better play at first. It was one of those rare times where it paid off from the start to get the runner at the plate and not go for 2 for the price of 1. So 2 out. They remain loaded, but that runner is cut down. 1-2. So here's Lippin. He's 0 for 1. Older kids, D. Scott Howard says we had 3 from the national championship Oregon State a while back. That is fun. And I'm sure the tickets are relatively cheap, and it's a good time, and you get to watch some good baseball. Not as much fun as the volleyball and soccer you watch, but I'm sure it's still great fun. Pitch to Lippin. Gets away from Evans. And it's a wild pitch on strike 3. Evans, no, it's a wild pitch. Let me call that again. Here's a set and a pitch. It gets away from Evans. It bounces off the backstop. Here comes the runner from Hefner. They got him. So the Tigers have 2 runners thrown out at the plate. They still get a run on 3 hits and no errors. And when you take the tape of that, just cut out the part I made the mistake. After 2.5, 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors. It's the Tigers 1, the Senators nothing. There, did I cover myself up there? Okay. Here's Gil Cohen. Gil at 272, 4 homers and 27 RBI. Hefner and Kozar to follow. Oh, they completely packed the place on $2 Tuesdays. I bet that's just the Pacific Northwest is so pretty. Pitch to Cohen is a line drive to Kell, 1 out. So the Tigers have 2 runners cut down the plate. The first on the ground ball to Hefner. Mickey, by the way, at 080 with an RBI, 2 for 25 on the year. And then the wild pitch, you don't see that happen very often. Odds are completely in the favor of the runner on a wild pitch, and it just must have hit that backstop and right back to Robinson to make the flip to Hefner. Evans to make the flip to Hefner. Pitch to Mickey is a liner into center field, and Evers dives and makes a good catch. It's also the stadium where we saw Ken Griffey Jr. make his pro debut. I got to watch. Al Kozar, by the way, 0 for 1. Stubby Overmeyer threw his first 9, 26 pitches, 2 2/3 innings, and a hit. I thought Ken Griffey, we were double at the time. I saw Ken Griffey Jr. take batting practice here in Burlington. And what a show he put on. He was hurt. Played a handful of games in Vermont before getting called up to AAA. And then Seattle, where he never looked back. Pitch to Kozar is a ground ball to Kell. Across the way for the out. So that will retire the side. No runs, no hits, and no errors. We go to the 4th, 1-0 Tigers. And as Johnny Lippin steps to the plate, let's take a look at the standings. Phillies and Dodgers both lost their last game, so it remains a half-game bulge for the Phils over the Dodgers. The Cardinals are now 2 back, and the Braves are 2.5. And the Giants, which seem to be coming back down to earth. Pittsburgh hanging around 500. The Cubs and the Reds. In the American League, the Sens have won 3 straight. Half-game lead on the Yankees. The Tigers are 5 back. Cleveland, Boston, who keeps losing at home. Philadelphia has really found where they should be. And then Chicago and St. Louis. The White Sox have won 7 of 10. Lippin is 0 for 1. And that's a base hit in the left center field. Vollmer will pick it up, and Johnny will hold with a single. Here's Neil Barry. He singled his first time up. And he pops this one up left side. Robertson reaches in the stands and makes the catch. So 1 out for Overmeyer, who struck out his first time up. Robertson and Robinson play for the bunt. He swings a fly ball to left. Cohen, 2 out. Brings up George Kell, 1 for 2 with a run scored and a single. So Hefner threw 18. 61 pitches, 3 2/3 innings. 5 hits, 2 walks, and a strikeout. Yay! Western Washington University. Don't say that fast, Ron. Is starting sports today. Softball doubleheader and women's basketball later. No spectators and limited schedule, but I know, Mr. Howard, that you really enjoy that action, and those kids are special. And so congrats to them. Pitch to Kell. Struck him out on a knuckler. Nope. Read that one wrong. Lippin didn't get the sign, and that missed high and tight for ball 1. So, oopsie on Ron. It's a 1-0 count. Fly ball to right. Ortiz will bobble it. Does he make the catch? No. The throw to second. No. It's a 2-base error on Ortiz. So Ray couldn't get a handle on it. There's hardly any wind. It's 2 miles an hour out to right field. And he played hot potato with us. So Kell moves on to second. And Lippin moves to third. Here's Evers. He's 1 for 2. So Hefner not impressed. That's the 3rd error for the Senators. Base hit left field. Lippin will score. Kell scores. It's 3-0 Tigers. And only 1 earned run. Hefner says a few things under his breath as he faces Wirtz, who's 0 for 2. Vic, there's a ground ball to Robinson, takes it to the bag for the out. Evers moves to second. Nope, that will retire the side. But the Tigers get 2 unearned runs on 2 hits and an error. We go to the bottom of the 4th. 3-0 Detroit. So Roberto Ortiz, the opposite of usually when something good happens, he bats right away. No. Sherry Robertson and Eddie Robinson here for the Sens in the bottom of the 4th. Ortiz strikes out. Got him on an 0-2 change looking. Strike 3. So here's Robertson. Sherry singled his first time up. The lone hit for Washington. Line drive to Barry. 2 out. So here's Eddie Robinson, who's 0 for 1. Base hit left center field. He took Overmeyer the other way, and that's it. Only the second base runner. Here's Evans. Al is 0 for 1. There's a liner to left center. Evers is there, and that will retire the side. Only the second runner left stranded for Washington. No runs, a hit, and no errors. We go to the 5th. It's 3-0 Tigers. So Hefner, here in the start of the 5th, will face Robinson, Mullen, and Callaway. Aaron singled and walked. He's driven in a run. To center, Vollmer, 1 out. Pat Mullen is 0 for 1 with a walk. Today, there's not much left to Griffith Stadium. It was torn down when now RFK was built. And when that opened, it was District Stadium. But today, it sits, the land is part of the Howard University Medical Center. So, young doctors and nurses get their training where Harmon Killebrew and others started and played their where Walter Johnson pitched. It's that old, so a bit of history repeating. Pitch to Mullen is ball 4. Third walk from Hefner. Brings up Callaway, who's 0 for 2. Mullen on first. 1 out, 3-0 Tigers. Evans goes out to settle down Hefner. Callaway, ground ball to Mickey. Goes to Kozar for 1. Over to Robinson. No. They get the force, 1-4. 2 out for Lippin, who's 1 for 2. Johnny singled and scored. Hefner deals. Up the middle, that's a base hit. Callaway goes to third. Dente didn't brush his teeth with Dentine and got a late jump on it. So the Senators kind of playing like the Senators that we expect today. But it's only 3-0 Detroit, 2 out top the 5th. Here's Barry. Neal is 1 for 2. Got away from Evans, and Lippin moves up on the wild pitch, but Callaway knew better and held. So Lippin moves up 90, and the count is 3-0 to Barry. Overmeyer on deck. Barry swings, fly ball to right. Ortiz is there, and that will retire the side. Tigers get a hit and do not score. There's 3-2. No runners, a hit, and no errors. Bottom 5, 3-0 Detroit. You'd think in the 30 seconds I have to grab that drink, I wouldn't do it until I had 3 seconds left. You joined us late. Here's how we got here. Aaron Robinson singled home George Kell in the third to make it 1-0 Tigers. And then Hoot Evers with a 2-run single in the fourth to make it 3-0. Mickey Hefner and his right fielder Ortiz are not going to be going out to dinner when this one's over. We'll talk about why both the Senators teams failed in a moment, Mark. Stubby Overmeyer is allowed 2 hits through 4 and a strikeout, which you don't expect from a pitcher with an ERA of 9. Mickey Hefner, 5 innings, 7 hits, 3 runs, just 1 earned. He's walked 3 and struck out 1. 3-7-0 for the Tigers, 0-2-3. Yep, 3 for the Senators. Well, to answer the question as Ballmer steps up, he's 0 for 1. When baseball started to flee the East Coast, there were a lot more potent markets, including Minneapolis. And Griffith Stadium was not in a desirable part of town. The stadium was old. I believe they'd started construction on the new place, but they had a new beautiful stadium in Bloomington waiting for them. And of course, the old saying with the Senators, first in war, first in peace, and last in the American League, they just didn't draw very well. You know, Washington is a very transitional town. It's a government. It's a company town. The company just happens to be the federal government. And so you'd get people in there and they'd be rooting for the Yankees, the Red Sox, whatever. And not necessarily for the Senators, which had been doormats for 1,000 years. Although I think if they had stayed and moved into the new stadium, they would have been a force to contend with in the 60s, because that Twins team was full of players that had played in D.C. Pitch to Vollmer is a fly ball to center. Evers is there, makes a fantastic catch for the out, one away. Here's Dente, he's 0 for 1. The second team, the expansion Senators, which came in 61, so there was no gap like there was in Kansas City for a year when the A's fled town. Went through 3 or 4 owners in those 10 years. And although they played in a multi-use park, the first one opened in 62, it really needed renovations for baseball. It was not really a baseball-friendly park. It was same design pretty much as Shea up in Queens. And again, they didn't draw very well. They only had the 1 year when they had a winning record, and they had been promised a beautiful new ballpark in Arlington, and they went for greener pastures where they didn't have to compete with the Orioles up the road. I would imagine, especially later on, because the Orioles were good almost immediately, that yes, having a team in Baltimore certainly did affect Washington. Especially the expansion team, because the Orioles were champions in 66 and then had that great run in 69, 70, and 71. And Ricky makes the point saying, yeah, in a way it still does. Although there's really not a lot of love between the Nationals and the Orioles. Dente's 0 for 1. Ground ball to short. Lippin throws to first for the out. Although today the Nationals are a much superior organization to the Orioles, it wasn't always that way. Cone is 0 for 1. And so, yeah, 37 miles apart between Baltimore and Washington, and you had Baltimore, who was winning, and Washington, who was struggling. Playing in this 56,000 seat stadium with a team that might win 75 games if they're lucky. Completely different ball game now, especially since the Nationals have won a World Series. And there are rumblings that the Orioles are looking at greener pastures elsewhere, especially after Peter Angelos goes. It would be a shame if that was the case, but you can't discount all the talk of Nashville and Charlotte when it comes to Baltimore. Pitch to Cone is a ground ball to Lippin on the grass. Over to first. Cone is out. On a bang-banger, no runs, no hits, no errors. After 5, 3-0 Detroit. So here's Overmeyer. He's 0 for 2. He's only thrown 43 pitches through 5 innings. Hefner starts the 6th with strike 3. An 0-2 knuckler swung on and missed. When is Tampa going to play in Montreal? Won't be this year because the border's not open. It's 2027, right, Ricky? It's convoluted. Here's George Kell, 1 for 3. George has singled and scored twice. Hefner threw 27 batters, 90 pitches. 5 in the 3rd inning, 7 hits. He's walked 3 and struck out 2. The ironic thing about the Rays splitting their season in Montreal, whenever that happens, is that they are so much like the Expos. It's scary as far as ownership that won't spend the money, an untenable stadium situation. So it seems kind of fitting that would be the case. I don't know if I don't think they split. Governor Lamont tried to get the Jays to play here in Hartford, but that didn't last long. The Jays will open up in Dundee, and they can't play in Buffalo this year because AAA's back. And I think they're hoping by the time that we get to May that the border might be open, and Toronto will see some baseball in 2021. Pitch to Cal is a fly ball to left Cone, and that one will go to somebody in Falls Church, Virginia. So the count is a ball and 2 strikes. Pitch to Cal. There's a fly ball right field. That will get down in front of Ortiz. And Cal is going to go for 2. The throw to Dente. Not in time. No, they got him. They got him. How about that? Ortiz got a good throw on it. And Dente was right there with the tag. And Cal is out. 2 out. Ricky says probably more toward the second half of the season. I know the first homestand is scheduled for Dunedin. Or Dunedin. Can't imagine they're going to draw that well down there. And I'm surprised that the Rays would allow that, to be honest. I'm surprised. I know why they're doing it, because that's where they train. But you would think, wouldn't there be a ballpark in Orlando that would do that? Now, Tampa is the home of the Raptors in the NBA. They upgraded the facility to prepare for this. Dunedin, that is. Pitch to Evers is a fly ball to right. He's 2 for 3 with 2 singles, and he's now 2 for 4. As that is the catch. No runs, 1 hit, and no errors. After 5.5, still 3-0 Tigers. So Hefner is 0 for 1 with Kozar and Ortiz to follow here in the 6th. Mickey hits a line drive to short. Lippin's there, 1 out. Happy Friday, Brad. How are you? Here's Kozar. He's 0 for 2. Overmeyer, 45 pitches through 5 1/3 and 18 batters. Just the 2 hits and a strikeout. 3-0 Tigers here in the bottom of the 6th. To third, Kel, 2 out. For Roberto Ortiz is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. Disgruntled hearing you slander the Sternberg group. Calling them cheap. I'll believe it when I see Tampa actually signing their own stars. And being up here and knowing what the Expos did. Forget Laurie. I'm going back to Bronfman and all those. When Tampa starts to keep their own people, I won't call them cheap. I disagree with that. I think ownership has been a huge hindrance over the year for Tampa. No, the big O was huge. I mean, they couldn't play in Jerry Park forever. But the Expos were never in the top half of the National League in attendance after 1983. Yeah, Laurie was an idiot for sure. Ricky says they may not sign their own stars, but they do it. Yeah, so do the Expos. A good job developing talent and maximizing the strength of the players in their roster. That being said, fans can buy blank Rays jerseys. And Montreal, Dombrowski was a good GM up there. Pitch to Ortiz is a fly ball right field. He's going to get 2 out of this one. His first double, as Wirtz couldn't get there. Sherry Robertson 1 for 2. They've always had good managers in Tampa as well. Sherry singled at one point. The Expos contended in the last week of the 93 season, too. I mean, that is a lot of where the blame goes. But I think in my mind, the Expos were doomed the second they played baseball in Toronto. But I stand by my assertion that Tampa and Montreal are identical twins. And I'm not sure even a new stadium down there fixes the problem. A lot of it is the stadium, but I don't know off the top of my head how much Quebec was going to put into the construction of Labatt. Here's the pitch to Robertson. There's a fly ball right center field. That's going to drop. Ortiz will score, and it's 3-1. The one thing that Tampa has going for the Montreal didn't was it wasn't on the whims of whatever the Canadian dollar was doing. And by the mid-90s, the Canadian dollar was floundering. Here's Robinson. He's 1 for 2 with a single. Throw to first. Robertson's back. Right to Overmeyer, and that will retire the side. Tampa. Washington gets on the board. 1 run, 2 hits, and no errors. We go to the 7th, 3-1 Tigers. So it'll be Wirtz, Robinson, and Mullen. Vick is 0 for 3. And there's a fly ball right center, and it's gone! Wirtz hits that one over the into the house that no one wanted to sell. And it's 4-1 Tigers. No, I don't. I like legal alignments. Here's a home run again. That's not Ortiz. And that ball was just hammered through there. G. Scott Howard chuckles at the complaints about Tampa Stadium because up here in the Pacific Northwest, all we heard in the 80s and early 90s was the Mariners were moving to Mariners, Giants, White Sox. We're moving into that spectacular modern stadium in Tampa. Besides Snell, did Tampa lose anyone else from last year's World Series team? Hopefully, they can make it work down there. Yeah, Major League Baseball is a single entity, so no complaints when we go to the universal DH, right? Here's Robinson. He's 1 for 2. He is singled, driven in a run, and walked. They re-signed Zunino, and Charlie Morton is gone. Pitch to Robinson is ball 4. So, nobody out for Pat Mullen, who's 0 for 1. He's walked twice. Here's a fly ball to right. Ortiz will handle that one. Robinson goes back to first. 1 out for Callaway. Callaway 0 for 3. And there's a ground ball to short. Dente, Kozar for 1 over to Robinson. That is 2. Stretch time, 4-1 Detroit. We're talking about the Reds having the traditional National League opener. And, of course, that's now gone the way of the dodo. The Mets and the Nationals, I believe, are the opening night game. MLB chasing revenues and ratings, and it's not like the Lions on Thanksgiving will never lose that slot because people are going to watch anyway. They're going to go with who gives them the best ratings. Why that's the Mets and the Nationals, I don't know, but we'll take it. Evans is 0 for 2. Vollmer and Dente the follow. Overmeyer throwing a gem here. 4-1 Tigers in the bottom of the 7th. Into center field. Evers will track that one down. 1 out. Vollmer is 0 for 2. Reds are tied with the Cards and the Pirates as the third oldest franchise. Obviously in the National League. Pitch to Vollmer. There's a line drive right to Barry, and he throws it away again. So the first error for the Tigers, and that goes in the dugout. Thankfully, Chuck Knobloch's mom is okay. And Vollmer is on second. The Cubs are the oldest franchise, 1870. I think you can still find some bottles of Old Style from 1870 in some remote corners of bars in Wrigleyville. And the Braves are the second out of Boston when they were the Bean Eaters, among other things, in 1871. Here's Sam Dente. He's 0 for 2. Ground ball to Lippin over to first. And Vollmer goes to third. The Cubs are the first pro team to be formed as a pro team from the get-go, not an amateur turned pro. They were the White Stockings, right? They weren't the Cubs for, I think, until the 20th century. Gil Cohn is 0 for 2. This time he grounds one to Lippin. The error will not hurt. Vollmer will be stranded at third, and that is the side. No runs, no hit, and the error does not hurt. We go to the 8th, 4-1 Tigers. Here's Lippin. Johnny 2 for 3. His single twice, scored. The Great Fire of Chicago caused them to suspend play for 2 years. Wow. Bring back the spiders. Pitch to Lippin. Got him. That's his third strikeout. Split finger. Brings up Neil Barry. He's 1 for 3 with a single. So the Braves are the oldest continuous team. But in the irony of ironies, on their third city. Ground ball to Kozar in front of the bag. Over to first, 2 out. The Spiders would be an interesting name for Cleveland. Here's Overmeyer. He's 0 for 3. He struck out twice. Harken back to ye old days. Overmeyer with a single. He gets one in the right center. Is he going to go for 2? The throw to Kozar. No. So Stubby has a double. A 2-out double here in the 8th for George Kell, who's 2 for 4. So 36 batters deep for Hefner, who scored twice. He singled twice. Hefner, 127 pitches and an emergency start. Remember, if you weren't with us, this is not an as-played game because it didn't exist. So Uncle Ron created the lineup. 7 2/3 innings, 10 hits, the home run to Wirtz. He has walked 4 and struck out 3. How you doing, JT Sly? 2000. Pitch to Kell. Ball 4. So the 5th walk for Hefner. He will lead off the bottom of the 8th, and we will go to the pen. Here's Hoot Evers, who's 2 for 4. Needs to get this one out. Evers is singled twice and driven in 2. And here's a fly ball to left. Cone in the corner. Makes the great play along the line to retire the side. How about that? Lays out on the track, gets his woolen jersey dirty, and that will retire the side. No runs, a hit, no errors. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 4-1 Detroit. So who can hit a lefty? Time, and it's going to be the lefty, Bud Stewart. Stubby Overmeyer has pitched the game of his life. Stewart, 265, 3 homers and 26 RBI. 4 runs, 10 hits, and error, and the Tigers have left on 10. Senators, 1 run, 4 hits, and 3 errors, and they've left on 4. Here's a fly ball to right. Wirtz, 1 out. Charlie Morton, Hunter Renfroe, and Nate Lowe are now on other teams for the Rays. Again, I don't want to hear excuses about, I don't think the ballpark is hard to get to. If you want that team to stay there, you got to show up. Period. End of story. Here's Kozar. He's 0 for 3. Overmeyer through 27 batters, 75 pitches. I don't know if he'll go the distance or not. 7 in the third innings, 4 hits and a strikeout. In the left, Mullen will make the catch along the line. He slides along the track, and that'll do it. And so that's it for Overmeyer. Dizzy Trout's coming in. We got a pitching change. This game coming to you from Griffith Stadium in Washington. Trout making 18 appearance. Your second favorite Trout. Rainbow, your first? Dizzy's 34. He's making his 18th appearance. Fastball at 82 and a ground ball. Pitcher. He went inning in the third against the A's on the 15th and didn't allow anything. 25 in the third innings, 36 hits, no homers, 16 runs all earned, 7 walks and 3 strikeouts. Your second That's Mike. Yep. Second favorite, Dizzy. Well, depends on how much I've had to drink, D. Scott. 5.68 ERA, 1 and 2 with 2 saves, and this should be. Yes, I got it. Mike Trout. Scratch your head. Yep, go right ahead. Got a save against the A's. So, 2 out, nobody on for Ortiz, who doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 3 with a strikeout. There's a base hit in the center field. That worked. So the Senators got something going here. Here's Robertson. He's 2 for 3. He's singled twice and driven in a run. Pitch from Trout. There's a base hit in the left center field. Robertson digging for 2. He's in there. So Ortiz on third, Robertson on second. The tying run is Eddie Robinson. He's 1 for 3. Serious question. Knowing now this is Albert Pujols' last year, do you think, yeah, the Sens are 14 over 500 and they have a half-game lead over the Yankees? We've known that for a long time. Do you think the Angels can make a run and finally get Pujols and Trout deep into the playoffs? Knowing we're going to get a full year this year, and you now have Rendon at third, unless, and Ricky says, oh, the answer I'd give, unless they learn how to pitch, no. Pitch to Robinson is a slow roller to Lippin. He goes over to first on the bang banger, and that will retire the side. So the Senators get no runs, 2 hits, and no errors. We go to the 9th. It's 4-1 Detroit. And yeah, the response is here. At best, I give them a 50-50 shot. No, they still did nothing to address their pitching. It all hinges on their pitching. Pujols is non-negative. The club now, the less playing time, the better. Okay. Lefty, lefty, lefty. Well, here is Lloyd Hiddle. Or as Al, Red Sox fan, would say, hey, diddle, diddle, the cat's in the fiddle. Yeah, I agree with you there. Brad made it official so people can enjoy his retirement tour. Lloyd is 25 years old. He's a fastball pitcher at 85 and a ground ball plus pitcher. This is his second appearance. He's been with the team 9 days. His lone appearance came against the Browns 2 days ago. He went an inning and allowed a hit. So overall, 109 innings, 123 hits, 2 homers. He walked 57 and struck out 32. And Brad is right here. The Angels goofed a few years ago by not going into rebuild mode while Trout was still in his mid-20s. The whole throwing money around as a Band-Aid doesn't fix the problem. It doesn't fix the problem for a lot of teams. Silent Shadows says, being a Cards fan, I was upset when they didn't re-sign him, but in the end, I can see why they didn't. Cardinals don't overpay. They're a smarter organization. JT Sly says, and Brad says, honestly, the Angels haven't had a good farm system since Whitey Herzog fixed it in the early to mid-90s. All good comments. Vic Wirtz hit a home run into a house that shouldn't be there. 4-1 Tigers as we start the ninth. I'm assuming it's pronounced Hiddle here. Wirtz hits a ground ball to Robinson, 1 out. Aaron Robinson 1 for 2. He has singled and walked twice. If Tampa doesn't do the split with Montreal, I don't think they'll ever do it. I think they will play in Tampa or play in Montreal. One of the two. I don't see Major League Baseball expanding. I don't know where you would ever get the public money in Quebec to put a team in Montreal. Here's Robinson. He's 1 for 2. He's singled, driven in a run and walked twice. Where else would you put the other team? Nashville desperately wants a team, but there's no stadium planned. And Portland keeps talking about a team, but there's nothing on paper for that. And at some point, the A's need a new stadium. And will Oakland let their third professional franchise walk out the door? I'm blind, then. Usually I am. That's why I wear glasses. When I think about it, the Angels got lucky having Trout fall that far and they only had to pick because of a 2-month rental for Teixeira. So where do you think? Charlotte and Nashville? Charlotte and Montreal? Charlotte and Portland? To short. Dente over to Robinson for the out. So 2 out. 4 runs, 10 hits, and an error for Detroit. They've left on 10. A run on 6 hits and 3 errors for the Sens, and they've left on 6. MLB wants that $1 billion in expansion fee money is what they want. Mullen is 0 for 2. He's walked twice. I want Washington to keep Rendon for sure. Angels probably... No, I don't believe Ty streams. He posts a lot of good stuff on Facebook, Ty Johnson. He's very knowledgeable, plays a lot of different sports, but I believe that's all he does is post screenings. And there's never enough pitching. Rendon being a Southern California kid, though, you can't blame him for going there. Pitch to Mullen is foul. First base side. Yes, and I think what will happen in Montreal is they'll get a boatload of television. Well, you would think they would get a boatload of television money, especially from the French there. I try not to think like a major league owner. No, they'll take the $1 billion and split it. They decide to expand first, then they decide where to put the teams. You don't want to see what happened in any... the only exceptions to that historically have been the lawsuits, and that's and or Masson. The lawsuit for Peter Angelos when the Expos relocated down to Washington. Pitch to Mullen is popped up left side. Robertson has it for the out. No runs, no hits, no errors. We go to the bottom of the ninth, 4-1 Detroit. So Evans, Vollmer, and Dente to face Dizzy Trout. I'm kind of betwixt and between on expansion. It's been, let me do some math here, 13 years, 14 years. 23 years. Thank you. And the longest gap ever unless you go back to the original 16. But I think baseball does not need to weaken their pitching product anymore. They need to address the pace of play problems, I think, are a big... Well, they need to not go on strike. Yeah, you can roll your eyes all you want, Brad. Ball 4. Oh, yeah, that stadium was terrible in Montreal. So here's Vollmer. He's 0 for 3. And what you don't want to do for Montreal is treat it like the NHL did with Quebec City. Build a brand new NHL-ready arena, in Kansas City as well. Dangle it as an option, and then not have anybody go there. Pitch to Vollmer is a fly ball left center field. Evers makes the catch for the out. 1 away for Dente, who's 0 for 3. The real key to expansion is vet the ownership groups better, more than the locations. I agree with you. And if you're going to pony up a check for $1 billion, you better vet it pretty well and have some substantive expansion draft. Again, you know, like Vegas in the NHL. Detman was cruel not to give Quebec City a team. Is Quebec better than Miami? Yeah, I agree with that too. Still going, Sarah. Fangraphs had a recent article explaining why it's more profitable for existing ownership groups not to expand, which is probably the real delay. I don't think baseball needs to expand. I think it's got to get its house in order and then work on that. I mean, there's a real possibility of another long-term work stoppage once the season is over. Pitch to Dente is a base hit left field. Mullen will pick it up. Evans will hold it second. Well, they've never, I mean, you know, as much as I dislike the NBA, and I think the NBA is the only league of the Big Four that really has its house in order. Here's Cohen. He's 0 for 3. Tying run now at the plate, and the pitcher spot due up. You know, you got the problem in Oakland with the stadium. We've talked about Tampa. Miami isn't much better than there, but they're not going anywhere. Pitch to Cohen is a ground ball to Barry over to first, and they get Cohen there. So runners on second and third, and we'll have a tying run up at the plate as a pinch hitter, and it's going to be, who can hit a righty here? It's going to be Buddy Lewis. Buddy at 198, a homer and 8 RBI. You want some, to quote Al Red Sox, yep, this is a slobber knocker for sure. And I don't want half the teams in the playoffs either. I think the worst thing that happened to college football was a playoff. Pitch to Lewis is a ground ball to Trout. He goes to Callaway and throws it away. So the run does not score. The bases are loaded for Kozar, who's 0 for 4. What was Costas' proposal? You know, if you go to the 8 4-team divisions, I'll do that. A few more games, one more playoff team. It makes winning division best record more meaningful. Okay. 3 wild card per league, top 2 division teams get up by. Kind of like the football thing then, up until this year. Anyway, Kozar is 0 for 4. Evans on third, Dente on second, Lewis on first. And Kozar is the winning run. 4-1 Tigers, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. A slap fest here. Pitch to Kozar is a ground ball to Berry, and that will end it. Forced to Lippin at second, and the Tigers win 4-1. So Detroit, 4 runs, 10 hits, and 2 errors. Washington, 1 run, 7 hits, and 3 errors. So Costas' proposal, 3 wild cards per league. Top 2 divisions get a bye. 3-game wild card series at all the home field advantage team home. Expand the division series to 7 and give its top seed the choice of opponent. I like none of that, but I understand why they would do it. But yeah, you reduce the regular season to 156 to make time for those extra playoff games. I like the best of 5 series. Yes, it is better than MLB's proposal of 8,000 series and all that. We're turning it into hockey in 1978. Stubby Overmeyer goes to 3-3. 7 2/3 innings, 4 hits, a run. It was earned with a strikeout. And again, his real-life ERA is 10. And right now on the replay, it's 4.5. That's fantastic. Trout gets to save his third. Hefner, again with the... No, 2 divisions and no wild card. Or 4 divisions and no wild card. Or maybe the top 2 in each division. Tuesdays and Thursdays normally at noon. Hefner takes a loss, 8 innings, 10 hits, 4 runs, 2 earned. A homer, he walked 5 and struck out 3, and Hiddle got a clean inning. Let's play the rest of the day in baseball. All right. And then we'll tell you what we got on the schedule for next week. So the A's beat the Browns 6-3. Keltner goes to 4-5. Drew's 3-6. Guerra 2 for 2 with a double. Yankees beat the Indians 6-1. Vic Raschi goes to 6-6. Satchel Paige falls to 0-5. You can't lose 2 in a row to Ottawa and Winnipeg and expect to keep your job. Brown 3 for 4 with 3 RBI and a triple. eBay for both of those. Boston beat the White Sox 7-1. Ellis Kender goes to 3-7. Billy Pierce falls to 4-5. Tipton 2 for 4 with 3 homers. Pittsburgh 6, the Giants 2. Riddle goes to 2-3. Jones falls to 7-5. Wally Westlake 3 for 4 with 3 RBI and a triple. 4-1, the Braves beat the Reds. Hall goes to 4-1. Raffensberger, sure, goes to 4-9. Nels Potter with a save. Brooklyn beat the Cubs 9-8-11. Irv Palika pitches well when he's not pitching on the channel. He goes to 3-3. Atkins falls to 2-3. Gene Hermansky 3 for 6, his 5th of the year with a double. And the Cardinals beat the Phils 8-7-10. Wilkes goes to 5-4. Schoolboy Rowe takes his first loss of the year. Nettie Kasich 2 for 3 with the home run and 4 RBI. Bobby Dorr hit 2 hits with drove in 5 in the Red Sox 7-1 win. All right, standings. And I figure out what I want for lunch. Make sure that we're on there. So Brooklyn now leads the National League by half a game over Philadelphia. A game and a half, thanks, D. Scott. Game and a half over St. Louis, 2 over the Braves, and 3.5 over the Giants. This is becoming a battle royale in the National League. The Yankees now have a half-game lead over Washington, 4.5 over the Tigers, 7 over Cleveland, 9 over the Red Sox, and 9.5 over Philadelphia. You can set up however you want on Twitch. They actually give you links to some streaming software and a hardwired internet connection is highly, highly, highly recommended. When we come back with you on Tuesday, it'll be the Giants. Yeah, there is not much else out there. Giants and the Cardinals Tuesday at lunch. The Friday game, or the Wednesday, the primetime chatty game, which I guess today was. We're right back here in Washington, if you would believe it, for the Indians and the Senators. And then the Thursday lunchtime special, 2 under 500. No, you know what? we'll change it. It'll be the Tigers and the Yankees from Yankee Stadium because you guys can never get enough New York Yankee baseball. No, it was going to be Boston and St. Louis. I do these about 3 or 4 weeks in advance. Well, my pleasure. I'm glad I'm feeling better too. And so that one we can change them at a moment's notice. So there you go. Don't be too mad at me, Brad. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good weekend, everybody. Monday night, it'll be the Habs and the Sabres from December 3rd, 1988. Until then, we'll talk to you the next time. Bye-bye.